What's up guys, Cass here from GiveWave Studios, and on this one I'm basically going to show you how to put together your DIY kit for the Zonite blade that I have on the shop. So we're going to go from these raw parts that you see here into a more finished version like this, so you can get kind of like a similar result. So this isn't so much of a tutorial, more like a how-to or like a breakdown on how this stuff is done. So the prop comes in the pieces that you see here. For DIY stuff, most likely you'll have like some support that you'll have to take care of, so that's easy enough. You can grab like a set of pliers or some flush cutters to just kind of pull these out of the way fairly easily and quickly. And then for any little jagged little bits, you can sand those edges, or you can use their flush cutter to clean this up a little better. So with that out of the way, these are the parts that make up your piece. So you have this ring. It's a fairly tight fit, so what I would suggest is, instead of trying to push it in, just put it on a flat surface and then insert and push your handle into it so that it's nice and flush at the bottom. Easy breezy. This is the bottom of your hilt. Twists on off. The entire thing is completely hollow, so if you wanted to do like any type of extra electronics or anything like that, you can definitely make that happen. And then this top piece here, for the DIY kit, this will come with magnets pre-installed, and the reason for that is we're going to have a bunch of accessories available for this. So just like in the game, you can kind of combine it with different things that we're gonna have in the shop. This was just kind of like a prototype with just a clear ball, but let's say, for example, you can do like a ruby and attach to it, and then you can have a wand with your blade. So, and then the last piece is going to be these little bits here that are just a pressure fit inside of these holes there. And if you have a hard time bringing them in, you can just kind of sand the bottom edge here, or grab some flush cutters and just kind of snip this part here at a slight angle. Okay, do a little comparison real quick. All right, so you can see the slight angle that I gave that, and you want to do that on both ends. That will allow you to insert this a lot easier. I don't send it out fitting exact, only because you want your fit to be a little tight, because you don't want this to come off at all. Okay, so fix your parts, insert them as you see fit. You can glue them in place. I don't suggest it. The reason why I don't suggest it is because if you did want to magnetically attach any other stuff, you should be able to just remove this fairly quickly and then just toss them inside of the hilt itself. That way you don't lose it at all. And the very last step of the assembly itself, obviously, which is the blade itself. So this is laser etched with the Zonite pattern, and we have an LED module at the end here. There's a switch on the side to turn it on, and then the button on the front here changes the color. So we're gonna cycle until we get to that Zonite white color, which you can see here. And then this only goes in one way. So there is, I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a slot there. That's kind of like a channel to avoid pressing the button as you slide it in, so that this doesn't change colors on you or anything like that. So the color that you set it to is a color that it stays. So just kind of like, you know, jostle that in. It's a really tight fit. Again, this is a prop for display and cosplay, so don't go around swinging this or anything like that. It's not meant for that. But for posing and walking around at a con, this is completely fine. And there's also a hole on the side here that gives you access to the charge port of the LED module. So if you wanted to quickly charge your unit while it was still on, you can just kind of put it down, plug your USB in, and you can let it charge without having to actually take out the blade. All right, I'm going to take the blade off just so we can talk about the paint job. For the painting is actually very straightforward. These are the paints that I used. This Ultra Cover Satin Hunt Club Green. And then I have this hammered paint and primer in one copper from Rust-Oleum. And as a base, I use this Rust-Oleum multi-textured stone grit spray, which gives it kind of like this stony feel. And so what you're gonna wanna do is just kind of mask out your different areas. First thing I do is mask for the stone. So basically I put masking tape on here to cover all of this, spray all of this with the stone. Once that's dry, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the paint and primer and then do that on there. I put some masking tape, very small masking tape inside of here, like a small strip, just to kind of to protect that, because I wanted it to be smooth. And then I sprayed the texture spray all up on this piece. I also masked the threads here. You don't want to get anything on here that can gunk up and make this hard for you to screw back into the part. For the gold here, I used this Craftsmart premium gilding paint to put that little gold line inside of here. This is the same gold that I use here on the trim and a little bit here on this separation line between the copper and the stone. This little piece gets painted separately because it's that copper. You can tell here that I have like some stone patterning going on. If you look closely at the in-game model, there are these kind of like stone pieces that make up the handle, and this is just easily done with a gray Sharpie marker. Just kind of like draw in your details however you see fit. And then you'll also notice that on some of the pieces there's a little bit of kind of like a teal going on if you look really closely, and that's just me dry brushing some Viridian. It looks teal to me, but it gives kind of like a nice contrast, like highlights on a lot of the raised areas, which is really nice. I also did a dark wash inside of the recessed areas, and here I just cut out a piece of reflective fabric to put inside of here. So with this piece, similar feel. Similar situation. I masked all of this copper stuff here, used a blade to kind of slice this so that I had access to everything else. I sprayed this with the textured spray, and then I sprayed it with the green, and then I hit it with a little bit of the dry brushing I was talking about. And then for the copper, I did the opposite. I masked the bottom and I sprayed the top with the copper. You can do a little bit of sanding to your 3D print, depending on how finely you printed it, but especially the parts that you're doing the texture spray on. If you go just like 2 coats, it's gonna completely hide any striations on the 3D print. So you really don't have to sand any part that's going to be green. You just want to sand the parts that are going to be copper, because those your lines will show a little bit. That's basically it. It's a fairly straightforward prop. And again, the inside is completely hollow, so if you wanted to do any type of different electronics or put like an Arduino in there with a sound board or some speakers, there's plenty of room to customize. We'll just kind of end it with our little sapphire gem. All right, so this has been Cass from GiveWave Studios. I hope this one was useful to you guys. If you purchased the 3D model for this or the DIY kit, I appreciate the support. If this, you're just watching this just to get ideas on how to make for yourself for your Tears of the Kingdom cosplay, I appreciate the view. That's it for this one. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.